From that dark place, Elio becomes worst Pixar opening of all time with 21 million domestic opening weekend box office this June 23rd, 2025 by Marvin Montanaro right there. You see, look at Elio right there. He's just looking at that box office and going, whoa, this is not good. Pixar has officially hit a new low with the Elio opening weekend box office. The animation studio, once hailed as the gold standard of cinematic storytelling, has now delivered the worst opening weekend in its 39-year history with Elio, a space-themed original film that limped to just $21 million domestically and $14 million internationally, making for a mere $35 million global debut. Now, that $35 million, I believe that was the domestic box office total for the second weekend of How to Train Your Dragon. That's how far we've fallen, folks. For a company that once kicked off weekends with over $180 million in ticket sales, this marks a stunning fall from grace. And the real sting, Elio was supposed to be a heartwarming return to original storytelling. Instead, it's now a cautionary tale. Jonas, before we get deeper into this, your initial thoughts to this story and what may have happened here.
Well, what may have happened here? I think we all know what happened here. First of all, I need to point out that I was stuck on a live stream, and my family was going to go to an event. It was an outside event while I was on a live stream. And they said, why would we do that? Let's go to the theater. And my wife literally asked me, is Elio okay? Which by that she means, is it woke? Is it full of weird gender propaganda? Which I think is the answer to Vash's question lies in my wife's question about this movie. And well, instead they went to go see How to Train Your Dragon, a movie which another one that my oldest had already seen. And even my kids were like, yeah, it's pretty much the same movie, but I really liked it. So, here's the thing. There's an argument out there that, oh, you guys never support Pixar when they come up with original stuff. Or is it children are not asking to go see the original stuff because children, I'm going to say this as a father and a person who respects children have a tendency to favor things that they are familiar with, and they assume the last thing is going to be the current thing is going to be the same quality as the last thing. Whereas parents have a tendency to say, is this full of weird gender propaganda that's going to try to convince my child that they are something other than what they are biologically? Maybe I don't want to have that conversation with my 4-year-old. So, there's also the fact that Disney and Pixar have just gone down the drain. Inside Out 2, a mediocre film, but it's at least something that already has name recognition. This appears to be a mediocre film with no name recognition. So, to each their own.
And I mean, it's stunning that after, well, what has been confirmed to be something like 7 years in production right here, apparently the U.S. Department of Defense helped with Elio and, get all the military aspects right. Okay, that really served the film well there. But 2019, I mean, this has been in development for so long. You would have thought that they would have had a much better product than what was actually displayed on screen. Of course, this, I think, runs counter just a little bit to that $150 million number right there. There's no way this is anywhere close to that.
Are you saying the deadline might not be accurate in the idea that this film that has kept the lights on for 7 years in some form or another has not only spent, let me forgive me. Let me get out the calculator here. Let's see, 2025 minus 2019. That is 6 years. So 150 divided by 6. That's, if you think that Disney only spent $25 million a year on this film, you were sorely mistaken.
Yes, and somebody who knows the development process and how much these things cost better than anybody, I would say. At least anybody. Let me get on this panel right here. No, I'm joking. Sorry, I'm just because people are going to say Valiant Renegade. No, Culture Casino. He's my guy. Culture. I mean, what are we saying here?
Just threw at you. We'd rather have Valiant Renegade, but here's
no. That's not what I'm doing at all. No. My guy is Culture right here because you know what, Culture. I know you are very deep into not just the box office and not just these productions, but specifically with Pixar and Disney animation productions. I know you're pretty much an expert at that. Is there any validity to this $150 million number at all?
No.
There you go.
There you
Yeah,
go.
no, obviously that's the short answer. The long answer is they're dreaming. This is probably one of the most interesting Pixar films in the last several years since what was plagued and sent to the audience as The Good Dinosaur. This was a pre-production nightmare and then became a full-on production nightmare. It was delayed and reworked multiple times. Rumors behind the scenes are, half a dozen times. So that's saying something. There's a reason it was delayed a full year. There's a reason that it had a delayed start. There's a reason that the story doesn't make linear sense at times. There's a reason that people are losing faith in Pixar. And no, it's not because of what a Wall Street analyst might say over at Wells Fargo and blame the audience is the nature of the day. It's the fact that nobody there is accountable for when they do fail. They fail constantly on a daily basis. You get a pat on the back even if you produce this weirdly skewed optical animation that nobody is interested in. They lost not only quality animators, obviously, to other across town competitors, but they also lost almost all of their creatives because they produce everything based on immutable characteristics. And this was no different than that. It's one of the reasons why it struggles mightily. And if you notice, all of the Pixar films that have failed have the same color palette. And they have similar animation styles, not just the Pixar style, but some perverted version of that. Sorry,
I will defend Luca a little bit. I think Luca was going for a Studio Ghibli style as opposed to a Cal Arts style, but I would put the rest of them in that Cal Arts style for sure.
Well, I mean, look at Turning Red, the film that really was just absolutely an unneeded piece of garbage. If Pixar wants to look at why they've had struggles, they have to look inward. And the excuses that you're getting even from the financial segment of looking outward is not it. I mean, you would think a financial analyst would understand that the only thing that matters is if you can make things that are profitable. That's not the audience's fault. It's the people making the product's fault. And I'm not sure if you were going to cover that story, from Wells Fargo idiocy, but it's not just them. There's other stuff out there. And I am more than a little nervous about Incredibles because we're now matching up a failed director, a great voice actor, by the way, a great participant in character design most of the time. But with Peter Sohn directing Incredibles 3, and I don't care that Brad Bird wrote the second one and is writing this one, I'm going to say that when you look at this specifically, I'm worried. I think Wallen Ballin and many others are right on top of things. What happened? Well, I think you're going to watch the same thing happen to Incredibles and Incredibles 3. Am I wrong? Do you think I'm wrong?
No, I think that it won't matter who's the director of Incredibles 3. And if it's successful, then Peter Sohn will have been handed a success at Pixar. I think if the Toy Story 4 and Inside Out 2 rule applies, it won't matter if it is cinematic ether. It'll probably make money at the box office. So Disney wants easy mode now, and that's what they are going to go for until the shareholders catch on. If they want to be Disney Toon Studios, which by the way, Disney Toon was actually not a bad studio for a good long period of time. If they want to be the people who show up and do the straight to DVD but put it in theaters, okay, that's fine. But that doesn't need the infrastructure that Pixar has built up right now.
No.
They can literally farm this out someplace else if they're not worried about quality anymore. If mediocre is all you need, go hire Sony Pictures Animation to do it for you, and then give yourself a lot less heartache. Be the IP holding company that we all know that you are deep down inside, Disney.
Well, that didn't used to be the case, but once Iger got in charge of it and destroyed the value that was left in everything he acquired, this is where we ended up. Same thing in the theme parks. We're watching that in real time. I think that financial analysts should know better, and I think that they should be looking at a broader story. And I think that we should be as well. We have to redirect the noise, because that's what I think the mainstream media now is, just a bunch of noise. And I think it's our job as the new media to talk about things, number one, very plainly, and number two, in cases like this, in an informed way. We need to call out the misdirections when they happen, and there's plenty. And we need to actually tell the actual story, which I'm proud to say that That Park Place does, WDW Pro does, Valiant Renegade does. I like to think that I do, and several other people in our sphere. We are going to have a panel full of them on every show that happens today. And again, I'm proud to be part of all of these opportunities to tell you what's really happening, because nobody accepts responsibility anymore.
Absolutely. It's just really sad to document the decline of what was an amazing enterprise in the form of Disney, and that includes Pixar and everything, all the divisions below Disney right there. But I mean, you have to. And I want to go ahead and end with this, because you brought up Valiant Renegade there, culture. He did feature a video in which he was talking about Elio and breaking it down, and he included a clip from John Lasseter, which I think was very, very poignant. And John was talking about the fundamentals of storytelling, how you have to have an amazing story that's slightly unpredictable. You have to have amazing characters that people really resonate with.
To make a great film, I believe you have to do three things really well. Tell a compelling story that is unpredictable, keeps the audience on the edge of their seat. You populate that story with really appealing and memorable characters, and put that story and those characters in a believable world. Believable for the story you're telling, not realistic. We're not interested in reproducing reality. It's a believable world. So those three components are kind of the guiding structure of this exhibit.
He went on to relay these very foundational storytelling concepts that have been completely lost from Pixar.
Yeah,
and
I think
it's.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just going to say, Valiant hit the nail on the head there in his first original piece of content in a very long time. That's what he said, not me. So I was just putting a little jab in there. But I will say that was well done. I mean, including that information is important. Most people need to understand where we were versus where we are and how we got there. And I think that, again, that's something valuable the new media does that the old media doesn't. Not only do you get context, you get analysis, and it's all based on factual information. So I want to say, well done, Valiant. That was good.
Absolutely. Really, really well done indeed. And if you're watching this video afterwards, hopefully those clips that maybe I have inserted will help paint the picture as to what actually happened to Pixar. Albertus Magnus, 44, with the $9.99. Lasseter, like Walt, could make people want to do better. John Lasseter was kicked out by participation trophy a-holes who already know everything and who celebrate their mediocrity and blame customers for their failure. Oh,
I mean, I would have phrased it differently, but I totally agree. The problem with Lasseter from Disney's perspective is he's a bottleneck. Everything has to go through him, so it takes time to put out these movies. Okay, well, it's still taking time to put out movies, and also they stink. So I don't see how they solve that problem. And the Me Too charges that they were trying to imply against him, first of all, no actual charge came forward. No lawsuits came out from that. And that should have been an HR meeting as opposed to destroying a billion-dollar company because Bob Iger didn't like that he wasn't the highest name on the creative totem pole at the Disney company. He is not a creative executive as much as he likes to pretend that he is.
Bob Iger was actually asked about this and said that, hey, you know what? Has the removal of John Lasseter actually hurt the company and its original storytelling? Well, he had this to say.
Did the loss of Lasseter, was it a blow to the company over time?
Look, there's a lot of talent at Pixar. There has been turnover as well, not just John, but there's been other turnover too. And that may have had some impact.
Oh, may have had some impact. There you go.
You're talking about Ed Catmull? Are you talking about Brad Bird? Are you talking about the deluge of Disney people that have left and gone over to work at Skydance Animation on the high profile side? Are you talking about Don Hahn, who is Disney Animation, who retired after possibly being demoralized by the Girl Squad over there, the Tumblr crowd. I'm sorry. I have no patience for we might have lost a few other people too. It's not just John Lasseter that we've lost. What a bunch of cope.
On the one hand, yes, cope. On the other, I mean, when John left, man, he pulled so many people with him, not just people who were actually there, but also too people who may have been thinking about joining the company. They were just like, see ya, we're going to go ahead and join John at the ground floor of another Pixar, whatever that venture happens to be. It's just, it's profound. And it all could have been avoided. Bob did not.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.